If you want to understand why your belly swells after every meal, do not look at the food on your plate and do not look at how fast you are chewing. The answer lives somewhere most doctors have never thought to check. And what I am going to share with you today can stop that bloating at the root. What your body is carrying right now, this pressure and discomfort that follows every single meal, it is quietly wearing away the quality of each day you have left. Your mornings, your energy, the way you feel when you sit at the table with people you love, all of it connects back to one hidden situation that most folks carry for decades before anyone gives it a name. Your doctor is not keeping this from you. The system they work in looks for what a pill can fix. But the answer to this one was growing in the hills of Jamaica long before there was a prescription to write. My name is Ezekiel Campbell. The people here in the Blue Mountains call me Papa. For over 55 years, I have served my community through the old ways of island bush medicine, passed down to me from my grandfather, who was a renowned healer in the hills above Kingston. He taught me from the time I was a small boy that every illness a person will ever suffer begins in the belly. Every pain, every heaviness, every symptom that refuses to leave, Mother Nature placed what we need to tend that belly right here in the soil of this island. I have watched this truth hold across 5 generations of the folks I have cared for. The world outside is only now beginning to confirm what we have always known. My grandfather practiced this, his mother before him. The grandmothers and grandfathers of these mountains have carried this knowledge for as long as memory holds. And in all those generations, in all the families I have known across this community, we rarely saw the kind of daily suffering that is so common now. People grew deep into their 80s with quiet digestion and steady energy. Researchers from outside these hills have begun arriving to study what we have lived, and they are finding what we already knew. One of the things I share with you today will genuinely surprise you. 9 out of 10 people I sit with are looking in the wrong direction entirely, and it is keeping them uncomfortable far longer than they need to be. The order of what I share matters because each piece builds on the one before it. Stay with me to the end, my people. Before we go further, I want to ask you something. Leave a comment below and tell me your age. And tell me this, how long has this bloating followed you after meals? Have you spent months or even years changing your diet without finding real relief? I read every single comment on this channel, and what you share shapes the topics I bring to you next. Here is what I am going to walk you through today. First, the symptom itself, and why what you are feeling goes deeper than most people have been told. Then the hidden cause that was present long before you sat down to eat. After that, the 3 forces that keep this situation alive, even when folks do everything they think is right. And finally, the protocol the old healers of this island use to quiet the belly from the inside. And at the center of it all, the most important shift you can make to begin feeling like yourself again. Before I begin, a small favor. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, take 2 seconds and do that now. Many of the folks watching right now did not realize they were not subscribed. It costs nothing, and it helps me reach more people who need this kind of help. You know this feeling well. You sit down to a reasonable meal, and 20 minutes later, your belly is pressing against your waistband, full of pressure and air. Maybe there is gas, or a dull ache that settles in below your ribs, or that heavy, dragging feeling that steals the second half of your afternoon. You have tried the obvious things, cut this food, added that one, ate slower, took the antacid off the shelf, and still every meal ends the same way. I want you to hear this from me clearly. What you are feeling is real, and the body is trying to tell you something. Today we are going to listen. The bloating after your meal is not the fault of the meal itself. The meal is the match, but the kindling was laid long before you sat down. Inside your gut, there is a living community of trillions of organisms that researchers call the gut microbiome. In a healthy gut, these organisms, mostly beneficial bacteria, work together like a crew that knows exactly what it is doing. They break down food, manage the gate between your gut and your bloodstream, and send signals all the way up to your brain. When this community is balanced and full, digestion is quiet and comfortable. After 60, this community begins to thin, diversity drops, the beneficial strains lose their numbers, and when that happens, food that should break down cleanly begins to ferment in the lower gut instead. Gas builds, pressure builds, and your body, which once handled every meal without a word of complaint, now struggles after every single one. Research from large population studies has confirmed what our people knew in these hills for generations. Studies following thousands of adults found that those over 60 with depleted gut diversity were significantly more likely to carry chronic digestive discomfort year after year. The laboratories came with their notebooks and found what my grandfather was already teaching in these hills. 3 forces keep this problem alive even when people try to correct it. The first is low-grade inflammation. When the gut wall becomes porous, a condition researchers call intestinal permeability, particles from food and bacteria slip into the bloodstream where they do not belong. The immune system responds by keeping a slow, quiet fire burning. That fire stiffens the digestive muscles and slows the movement of food through the body. My grandfather called it the belly arguing with itself. Dorothy was 72 years old, a retired school teacher from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, who had spent years being told her discomfort was simply irritable bowel. What had been overlooked in all that time was the condition of her gut wall. Within 6 weeks of addressing that layer, her bloating had reduced by about 60%. She said to me, "Papa, my afternoons feel like mine again for the first time in years." The second force is weakened motility. After 65, the muscles that move food through the gut lose their timing and coordination. Food sits longer than it should. Bacteria work on it past their useful window, and gas is what you are left with. The third force is the missing layer of gut care. After 60, we can lose up to 40% of our gut bacterial diversity. Probiotics alone cannot rebuild what has been lost. They need prebiotic fiber to feed them and sustain them inside the body. And they need postbiotics, the actual healing compounds the bacteria produce when all the conditions are right, to do their deepest work. Think of a garden. The seeds need soil, the soil needs rain, and the harvest only comes when all 3 are present together. Without each one working alongside the others, the gut cannot restore itself. I want to pause here for a moment, because my folks ask me about this more than almost anything else. What do I personally use to support all 3 of these layers together? For the past several years, my answer has been BoochBod, a kombucha gummy that brings together prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics in one daily serving. It contains lactospore and postbiotics LM1004, 2 clinically studied strains, alongside dandelion root, which the healers of this island have used to settle the belly for as long as we have memory. It is a gummy, not a pill, which matters for those of us whose stomachs do not always welcome capsules. Over 30,000 people are already using it, and the link is waiting for you in the description below. And please speak to your doctor before starting any supplement, particularly if you are on regular medication. Now let me bring you the protocol. The first layer of recovery is restoring the gut wall itself. Slippery elm bark is what the old healers here have used for this purpose long before any laboratory named the mechanism. It coats and soothes the gut lining, helping to reduce permeability and calm the surface inflammation. Stir 1 teaspoon of slippery elm powder into warm water each morning before you eat anything. Give it 4 full weeks before you judge it. The second layer is feeding the beneficial bacteria that remain. Prebiotic fiber is what those organisms eat. Green bananas, which grow abundantly here in Jamaica, are among the richest sources you will find anywhere. Half a green banana daily, or the same amount of cooked and cooled plantain, begins to shift the balance in the gut within 2 to 3 weeks. And now the deepest layer, the one I call the master shift. The recovery of the postbiotic environment is what determines whether everything else you do actually holds. Here is what that means in plain terms. When you restore the beneficial bacteria through probiotic foods and prebiotic fiber, those bacteria begin producing short-chain fatty acids and other healing compounds. These are the postbiotics. They are the signal the gut sends to the immune system to stand down from its quiet emergency. They are what tells the gut wall to close its gaps. They are what restores the timing of the muscles that should move your food along, without making you aware of them at all. The healers of this island understood this layered dependency long before it had a name in any journal. They called it feeding the whole field, not just planting one seed. Without this final layer, the other two remain incomplete. Walter was 68 years old, a retired postal carrier from Savannah, Georgia. He had been dealing with daily bloating after every meal for over 12 years. What had been overlooked across all those years was this third layer entirely. 3 months after he began supporting all three together, his post-meal discomfort had reduced by over 70%. He said to me, "Papa, I forgot what it felt like to eat a meal and just go on with my day." The practical steps for this layer are simple. A small amount of plain yogurt with live cultures, a quarter cup of kefir, or the equivalent in a well-formulated supplement, taken every single day. The Creator designed the gut to respond to consistency, not twice a week when you remember, every single day, without fail, after 55 years of watching what actually works in bodies like yours. Here are 3 things I have seen make the greatest difference. Number 1, take your probiotic food or supplement at the same time each morning. The gut runs on rhythm, and steady consistency over weeks matters more than any single large dose. Number 2, warm your fermented and prebiotic foods gently before eating. Cold foods require the body to spend energy simply warming them before digestion can begin, which slows the whole process. A warm bowl alongside your green banana is always kinder to an older gut than anything taken cold. Number 3, pair your prebiotic fiber with a small amount of healthy fat. A drizzle of olive oil or a few slices of avocado alongside your green banana improves the absorption of fat-soluble compounds in a way that matters. 3 mistakes I see people make when they try to address this. Mistake 1, taking a probiotic supplement without the prebiotic alongside it. The beneficial bacteria arrive and find nothing to eat. They do not survive inside the body long enough to do any work. Mistake 2, expecting results in 3 or 4 days and giving up. The gut developed its current pattern slowly over decades of change. It needs weeks to begin shifting. Give it the time the old ways always required. Mistake 3, improving and then stopping. The gut needs ongoing support, not a short course. Stopping is what invites the old pattern back through the door. My people, what we have been talking about today reaches well beyond digestion. It is the quality of every morning you have ahead of you. The ability to sit at the supper table and feel well and present. To have the energy to be with your grandchildren. To walk in the garden. To feel like yourself through the whole of your day. It is never too late. I have watched bodies at 75 and even 80 begin to shift when the right conditions come together. Mother Nature built this body with a capacity to recover that most of us have been told to stop expecting. You carry far more ability to restore your own comfort than you may have been led to believe, and the old ways of this island are here to remind you of that. Let me lock this in for you. Number 1, the bloating that follows every meal begins with a thinned gut community, where food ferments in the lower gut instead of breaking down cleanly. Number 2, 3 forces keep this alive. Low-grade inflammation in the gut wall, weakened digestive motility, and the missing third layer of gut care. Number 3, recovery begins with the gut wall, with slippery elm bark stirred into warm water each morning before eating. Number 4, Prebiotic fiber feeds the beneficial bacteria that remain, with green banana or cold plantain as your daily foundation. Number 5. The postbiotic environment is the deepest layer, the one that lets all the others hold and do their full work inside the body. If this reached you today, please subscribe so you do not miss what I bring next week. Share this with a sibling or an old friend who has been carrying this same discomfort for too long. And leave me a comment below telling me which part of this surprised you most. I read every single comment on this channel. Whenever you are ready to take a closer look at BoochBod, the link I mentioned earlier is in the description below, waiting for you. May the Creator keep you well, my people. I will see you in the next one.